A part of the program. 3:15 in the European Theater of Operations. The night is silent, but this Liberator base never sleeps, even on Christmas Eve. By air, the enemy is only a few minutes away. The men who are safeguarding the present and those who are preparing for the future are hard at work. And one of them, whose task is less grim than the others, is Technical Sergeant Nicholas L. Visco of Bridgeport, Pennsylvania. What are you doing at this hour of the morning, Sergeant?
Roasting turkeys, and the boys realize that a lot of folks are doing without it, so we can have it here. We want to thank them for the small Christmas present.
And that goes for all of us.
Would you like to know what I'm doing about dessert?
Absolutely.
It's ice cream. We save our rations of powdered milk and powdered eggs, and I got a hold of some cocoa and cornstarch, all of which adds up to ice cream.
Good deal, Sergeant. Here's another man who works all round hours. Technical Sergeant John R. Wade of Taunton, Massachusetts, a member of the ground crew. Am I right about the hours, Sergeant?
We're on 24-hour call, sir.
Even on Christmas Eve?
Even on a Christmas Eve.
And that's why we brought our microphone to your workshop, to let you say Merry Christmas back home tonight.
Merry Christmas, Mom, and everybody.
And now, speaking for all the gunners in the European Theater, is Staff Sergeant John Galanis of Plymouth, Pennsylvania, who has been on 19 missions and wears the Distinguished Flying Cross and the Air Medal with 2 clusters.
Well, the best way I can put it is this. There's one ship in our group called Heaven Can Wait. It'd be like heaven to be home for Christmas this year, but heaven not only can, but has to wait until our job is finished.
For the pilots, navigators, and bombardiers, First Lieutenant Alan L. Green of Oregon City, Oregon. The lieutenant is 21, has been on 17 missions, and wears the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Purple Heart, and the Air Medal. Lieutenant?
Well, I feel the same way the sergeant does. Well, we've enjoyed the presents and the Christmas greetings we've had from home. We'd like to return every Merry Christmas in person, but it's back to duty now. So we might add we have some Christmas presents and some New Year's resolutions here in England. We're planning to deliver to Hitler in person.
From England, the armed forces return to the United States.
Well, here we are back in Hollywood. Now from America, where it's still Christmas Eve, we take you where it's already tomorrow. Christmas Day to China. Come in, Chongqing, China.
Tonight, all the army men in Chongqing will be dancing at the Victory House as guests of General Song Jian. There's no snow in Chongqing like we used to have back home in Kansas, but we're having about everything else a soldier overseas could have this Christmas. For all the boys in China, a very Merry Christmas and a fine New Year. Now from China, we'd like you to meet some of our buddies on duty in India. Over the Himalayas, we go from Chongqing to New Delhi.
Those boys out there in India evidently can't hear me, but they're definitely on our Christmas list, and we've got a long one tonight. So suppose we try to bring in those fighting Marines at Guadalcanal. And if everything works all right, we will take you to Munda and Guadalcanal.
What's the matter with you, Frank? Well, I had to rush through my dinner so I could get in. You know how I feel, don't you? Yeah, me too. We had a dinner. Just had our Texas dinner. Seaman First Class Frank Rosen. And I am Seaman First Class Jim Horshaw. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and Frank is from Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah, we rushed right through our turkey stuffing yesterday. Say, Jim, I haven't rushed like this since we ran for a festival. That's not so long ago, just a few weeks back. See, I used to look up out of that rusty hole in the ground and think of my folks fast asleep down in Alabama. We can say that again. Let's give the folks a hot toast. Back up, I think. Well, while we are speaking about Russia, we sure feel sorry for your folks back home. They tell us we can't drive over 35 miles an hour. Well, we can't drive over 25. And you've been talking traffic up on this sort of stuff. You should have one of these MPs after you. Don't get a picture now of your dropping. Everyone will say, did you hear Seaman First Class Hornshaw dropping on the radio at Christmas? But we're on the radio. Oh, don't worry about us, folks. We expected you, Grub, but okay, not on Christmas. Any level, it's sure a lot better here than it was last year. Last Christmas, almost everybody spent the holidays in a foxhole. Well, folks, all we really want to say is a Merry Christmas. It's a tough fight, and we'll be home soon, Mom, I hope. I was seeing First Class Frank Rosen, Huntsville, Alabama, saying greetings to his mother and dad and his first sister in Alabama, and my new little brother, too. And his new little brother, too. And I want to say greetings to my mother and dad, my brothers and sisters in Detroit. Hey, hopefully I'm listening. This is Seaman First Class Jim Horshaw on Guadalcanal, switching you to London, New Georgia. Go ahead, number.
Greetings from the Northern Colony. This is George Thomas Forster speaking from Winter Airfield on New Georgia Island. This is the first broadcast to come out of the Northern Colony. It is 1:20 on Christmas afternoon, and there are two blue jackets standing beside me. I want to tell you about Christmas on New Georgia. Here is Radio Man Second Class, Charles Bashara, of BSN, New York. Thanks, Mr. Forster. I'd like to introduce my pal, Gunner's Mate Third Class, Robert McNoyers. Bob is from Cahos, New York. Thanks, Charlie. What do we do now? Well, Charlie used to be on station WFYR in Syracuse, New York. So the show is yours, Charlie. Yes, but this is sure different than broadcasting from WFYR. We're out here in Winter Airfield, at the top of a hill that the Japs were trying to bomb off the map only a few weeks ago. And we hear the planes roaring. We're in an open space. I said it's not like Syracuse, and it's sure not like Christmas at home, eh, Bob? Sure isn't. We're standing here with our shirts off, and it's still pretty hot and damp. In fact, I'm soaking wet. Maybe I'm not. One thing, we didn't have a slow night just a half hour ago. I've got the menu here. Shall I read it, Sam? Sure, go ahead. Roast turkeys, vivid gravy, steak dressing, and buttered cornflakes. With potatoes, crumbled hot, ice cream, and chocolate cake. Candy, cigarettes, and coffee. And Merry Christmas. Remember last Christmas, Bob? And we were wondering where we would be this Christmas. Yeah, well, here we are. And here we stand till we run those 30 little yellow. Wait a minute, Bob. We're on the air. And while we are, I'd like to say greetings to my mom and dad and my whole family and the staff at WFYR. I hope to be back with you soon. Me too. Christmas greetings to my mom and dad and family in Cahos. And a special greeting to Ruth. I want to get this out and go down and read it all along. Thank you, fellas. Thank you, Charlie. And Bob Desnoyers. I hope you're faithful listeners because you were on the first broadcast of winter. This is your NBC war reporter, George Thomas Forster, speaking from New Georgia in the Northern Colony. I now take you to the mainland.
This is Christmas Eve at the Front, the Christmas program spontaneously suggested by American servicemen all over the world to show the folks at home how Christmas is being spent on the fronts of this global war. This program is being presented by the four major networks. We pause briefly for station identification.
Out in the Pacific, our boys have given a mighty good account of themselves, and some of them are spending this Christmas in the hospital. So, for a visit with the wounded in New Caledonia, we take you to Noumea.
This is Noumea, New Caledonia. It's the afternoon of Christmas Day here, while you at home are getting ready for your Christmas. This program comes to you from the ward in an army hospital. There are rows of white cots occupied by our boys who have been injured in battle. Let's listen to Miss Boyer, the day nurse, who's talking to one of the patients.
Hey, Charles, how are you making out with that turkey?
I can do it all right. I've got to learn to do things for myself. See? You showed me the last time how to untie a knot with my thumb and third finger. There, I've got it.
Well, I'm supposed to take you in a jiffy, and what have we find? Golly, Sandy and first place, too. I knew you'd figure out how to get into wrestling.
You know you've helped me a lot, Miss Berger. Everybody has. Just think, I get you singing out twice a week over the radio.
Where'd you learn to sing, Charles?
Back home. That's what I did before the war. My last job was in Baltimore. And when I get back to the States, go on with fixing up with a new leg, and you don't need an arm to sing with, I'll get along fine when I get that leg.
I know you will, Charles.
So, Charlie, how about a song? Yes, give us White Christmas.
Tom, get that guitar beside your bed, and we'll have a bit of music.
Okay, if Charlie will sing. Sure, I'll sing, but I won't. I'll let you a Christmas. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the trees
while Charles sings, I'm sure our listeners would like to know more about him. So I'm going to ask Colonel Stewart, Chief Surgeon of the hospital, to tell us about the story. Charlie's full name is Private First Class Charles E. Oates, who founded at 1507 Grace Street, Baltimore, Maryland. He was 26 years old and was injured on Guadalcanal last January 16th when a shell killed his buddy. It was necessary to amputate his left arm and right leg. He was in a critical condition for some months. At first, he didn't have to walk, but now he always starts working somewhere else. He sings for the boys here in the hospital, and twice a week he goes out in his wheelchair and sings a 15-minute program over the radio. I understand, Colonel. He received many gloves in the feet. Yes, Charlie had 31 transfusions in all. A record for the hospital. Perhaps it's a record anywhere. Thank you, Colonel Stewart. Like countless other Americans, Charlie Oates has what it takes to win this war. He and his buddy have fought the job in 2 years. Give it out this Christmas. Tomorrow around, we're going to make it possible for us to see. Return home and begin the Christmas tree for the future. Because in this hospital ward in New York, Miss Caledonia, we send a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas! And now back to the United States.
Up in the windswept Aleutians, the boys are huddled around their stoves talking things over. So let's go to the land of snow and reindeers, to Alaska.
A little test from Palestine now.
Come in, Alaska.
Say, Bing, we're having a little trouble getting Alaska, so step into my office, please. Is that what you meant? You look fine tonight.
You look well.
You look grand.
Like my tent?
Isn't that a wonderful thing? What button do you push to get KCA? What are you doing? That's the wrong network. We're on KFI. Sorry, John. Do you like this little suit I have on?
Yes, looks something like an unmade bed.
Look who's talking. Are those your pants or are you dancing with somebody? Bing, this is a little suit. It's a little suit I had made for me in Pittsburgh.
Where were you at the time?
I was... Nevertheless, I like it and I'm going to buy it. I think it looks good, don't you?
Yes, love it.
Do you like that?
Why don't you take the hanger out?
Say, listen, I must tell you one thing while we're waiting for Alaska to come in.
Yeah?
Are you there, Alaska? You know, while I was over in Africa, that when the man puts his nose, that means we're right there. If he holds it, look out. Look, I want to tell you. Ernest Hemingway told me to thank you.
He did? For what?
While I was over in Africa, I met Hemingway, and he told me to thank you.
That's nice to hear. For what? Why
well, he saw your horses run, and he got the idea for whom the bell tolls. You know, and I had a wonderful time over there. Is it true that your horses are the only ones that have racks for their canes? Is it true?
Lies. All lies. Filthy lies.
Filthy lies.
My horses haven't much speed, but they have lovely personalities, all of them. They're charming horses.
They are. Yes. They're some of the finest horses in Dr. Townsend's club. I want to tell you that. Listen, another thing. Listen, Bing, I want to know one thing. Why were you late for rehearsal tonight?
I couldn't get here any sooner.
What do you mean you couldn't
Well, something
get here?
very serious happened on the way to the broadcast. I stopped at the stables to see my charges.
You did? Is that right? I understand you have new stables down there by the Southern Pacific where the Super Chief goes by.
That's right.
The other day, the Super Chief went by and Bing lined all his horses up and said, "See, that's what I mean." Say, but Bing.
What?
How about this right here? You want to cut in
clever,
right there?
Yes. Christmas Eve and every other night is silent night for the men in the submarine service. But tonight they break their silence to join us around the Christmas tree as we take you aboard a United States submarine.
I can use you. Come in at 9.
I am an electrician mate first class aboard a fleet submarine. In speaking for all submarine men, I want to say to our wives and kids back home, to Mother and Dad, And to the sweethearts who wait our return,